We have two important things to do this morning. The first is if there are any veterans in our midst, would you please stand so that we can acknowledge you and thank you for your service. Thank you very much for standing and for the time that you gave so that we can appreciate the freedoms that we experience in our nation and throughout the world. The second important thing that we have to do is have an important word from our Finance Council about the state of our finances. And so at this point, I want to invite Tim Meyers forward to address our concerns.
Good morning. As Father said, my name is Tim Meyers, and I'm a member of the St. Wendland Parish Finance Council. The committee would like to take a few minutes to give an update on where our parish is at financially and to inform you of the progress that has been made since Father Todd's letter that was in the bulletin in August on the same matter. As a brief overview, the Finance Committee provides a system of checks and balances to make sure that the parish leadership are continuously being good stewards of the generous resources our parish have provided. The last several months have been challenging. Tough decisions had to be made and continue to be made, but we are seeing progress. In the last fiscal year, which ran from July 1st, 2016 and ending June 30th of this year, we experienced a deficit of over $500,000 with a trend that was only going up. With numerous actions being taken, with the toughest being the difficult and sad decision to close the high school, we project our deficit at the end of this fiscal year, which ends June 30th, 2018, to be around $200,000. If you look back at Father Todd's letter that was in the bulletin in August, at that time we were projecting a deficit of $330,000 for the current fiscal year. Now, 3 months later, we have reduced that deficit projection to $200,000. So we've made a $130,000 improvement since August. So the good news is that we've reduced the deficit by over $300,000. The bad news is that we're still looking at a $200,000 deficit at the end of this current fiscal year. In the bulletin, you will see that year-to-date, our Sunday collection is showing a variance or a deficit of around $40,000. This is not from the beginning of the calendar year in January, but only the fiscal year, which started July 1st, or 4 months ago. We need an average of $16,000 a week to meet expenses. Anything short of that puts us in a deficit mode. If the current trend continues, we will end the year next June with a $200,000 deficit. More changes need to be made to balance the budget, income needs to increase, and more costs need to be reduced. In this week's bulletin, there's a page detailing what I am presenting today. You will also see, ironically enough, that this past weekend we experienced a higher than normal giving, which actually put us over the $16,000 needed for the week. The Holy Spirit is already working. Our prayer is that it continues. However, if we continue to fall short on our weekly budget, we will expend all our resources if additional funding is not available. We are currently diminishing our savings to cover operational costs. This would cause us to run out of cash sometime next year. There are several things driving this. Obviously, the biggest is the cost to run the school. Enrollment needs to increase. Sunday collection is down. The number and amount of bequests have dropped significantly. And there continues to be a need for capital expenditures for all our facilities and buildings. The school is still a major part of the parish budget. The parish, along with the Educational Foundation, subsidizes the school to the tune of about $750,000 a year. We need to work together to figure out how to reduce the need for that amount of subsidy by getting enrollment up. Our enrollment officer and staff are working diligently on this. Let me assure you that our Catholic school continues to achieve its mission. Our Catholic school children are learning about faith each day beyond the fundamentals. We are forming the whole person, body, mind, and spirit. We are educating students to be champions of the human virtues and the dignity of the human person as created in the image and likeness of God and modeled on the person of Jesus. We are teaching even the youngest students the virtues of faith, life, and culture, that God has something to say about it all. We are teaching a Catholic worldview that draws the students deeper into the life of God in the church. We believe the strong adult faith begins in these formative years. 2 weeks ago, we celebrated our parish's patron saint's feast day. We are told St. Wendelin gave up royalty and riches to pursue a life of prayer, service, and holiness. In 1850, a group of German and Irish Catholics formally began the church we know, love, and worship in today. If you take the time to read our parish history, you will find that the people of St. Wendelin were always on the move, listening to the Holy Spirit and sacrificing time, talent, and treasure to live out the Great Commission in a real, tangible way. Much like our forefathers, we too must be ever mindful listening to the Holy Spirit, continually asking him, what do you want for us now? What do you want for us as individuals, as families, and as a parish? So, it is no secret that the parish is in dire need of your financial support. The need will continue, for it is not a single Sunday appeal, but a lifelong commitment. Like many nonprofit organizations, our parish has both short-term and long-term financial needs that simply must be met to sustain our faith community. Rest assured that we are examining every aspect of our operations to see where there are opportunities to increase revenue and cut costs. Again, the purpose of the Finance Council is to ensure good stewardship of the resources entrusted to us. I and the other members of the Finance Council take this responsibility very seriously and will continue to work hard for you and with you. In the weeks ahead, the Finance Council will be presenting the full annual report to the parish. Please know that the Finance Council, pastoral staff, school administration, and teachers are committed to be good stewards of St. Wendelin. Our hope is that by sharing information about the condition of our parish finances, we will be able to maintain the ministries that we have made a priority in order to build God's kingdom. In the gospel today, we heard about the foolish virgins waiting for the bridegroom to come to welcome him to the banquet. The virgins were short-sighted, failing to bring enough oil for the long haul. The wise virgins were prepared for the long haul, and they provided enough oil for the entire time that they waited. They were ready for the arrival of the bridegroom and were welcomed to the banquet with their lamps burning bright. Our parish needs to take the example of those wise virgins and provide for the long haul. We need enough resources to sustain our faith community. We need to meet our mission to worship Jesus in spirit and truth. We need to evangelize the good works of our community and to educate our young people in the ways of Jesus Christ. I love my Catholic faith and I love St. Wendelin Parish. I wouldn't be up here today if I didn't, and I know you feel the same way. In the meantime, we thank you for your prayerful consideration, participation, and sacrifice in helping the parish meet its financial need through your gifts. May God continue to bless each of you, your families, and our parish.
So thank you, Tim, for a very good word to us. It's obvious that we are at a critical juncture now. And both Finance Council as well as the Foundation Board members need your input. What do you see as we go forward in terms of our finances and our financial need? I'm encouraging all of us to send letters to me this week, giving your input It's your chance to give us what it is that will help guide us and lead us in the decisions that we'll be making. And you can just drop them to me. We're only going to read the ones that are signed. And if you put on the outside of the envelope maybe a dollar sign, it'll help us know that it's a letter about finances here at our parish. Once again, I want to thank Tim for the fine message.